Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout, or click the link down below. It'll automatically apply the discount to your transaction, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. I ruined my sister-in-law's bachelorette trip. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and my 25-year-old brother is getting married this weekend. His fiancée, let's call her Jessica, and I have never really gotten along. To give a quick overview, she tends to lie, exaggerates, and always finds a way to one-up others. For example, when my daughter was born with a heart murmur, my aunt asked about her condition and upcoming surgery. Before I could answer, Jessica cut in to say that fast heart rates run in her family and it's totally normal for them, completely taking the conversation away from my daughter and making it about herself. That's just one of the many examples. In short, we're polite to each other, but we don't have a relationship. I avoid drama and keep things civil. About a month ago, I was invited to a bachelorette weekend trip. To my surprise, in attendance, my sister, cousin, my mom, her friends, and family. Jessica doesn't drink much, but the maid of honor had planned for a fun Eras Tour drinks. The bride and her close friends didn't think much, but my sister, mom, and I drank a little more. We weren't out of control, but we were definitely more into the party mood than others. One thing I realized was inappropriate but never mentioned to me during was I flashed one of the girls as a joke. I understand now that it was wrong, and I regret it. The real drama happened the next day. After visiting a couple of wineries and shops, Jessica said that she wanted to go back to the cabin and take a nap. She declined multiple invitations to join us at another winery. I was driving another car, and before heading back, I decided to stop at a McDonald's. Then, someone in our car suggested visiting one more winery nearby. Just a quick drink before heading back, since we thought the bride was napping anyways. Somehow, Jessica found out and blocked all of us from contacting her. When we returned to apologize for not including her, she locked herself in her room. My mom blamed herself and ended up staying in her room all evening, feeling awful. The bride never checked on her, even when my mom asked if she should just go home. Jessica just ignored my mom. My sister and I tried to make the best of it, but the mood was incredibly tense. That night, by 12:30 a.m., most people were asleep, including my mom. I was in the kitchen with my sister and cousin, chatting about cleaning up to help in the morning. My sister and cousin mentioned going to the hot tub. We were calm and sober at this point, not being loud at all. I began to clean, telling them that I would meet them outside. As soon as my sister leaves, Jessica stormed downstairs, yelling that we had ruined her bachelorette party. She said that we made it all about ourselves, and that she hated us, hated our family, and wished that she wasn't joining our family. My sister ran in to defend me, saying that I was just trying to clean up, to which Jessica's mother told us to just leave, resulting in my sister crying because my brother is her best friend. Since then, things have remained tense. My dad told me to not rehash things, to apologize, and to move on. I really don't feel like I did anything wrong and that deserved that reaction. Since we're not allowed to talk about what happened, nothing has been resolved. My brother asked us to stop talking about each other behind each other's back, and during his birthday dinner, Jessica and my other sister-in-law were literally sitting right next to me, talking about me. No one wants to talk about it, but I feel like that conversation needs to happen. I didn't even know that she was so upset about the flashing incident until my brother told me. She never said anything to me. Now, the wedding is days away, and I'm full of anxiety. I feel especially hurt now that Jessica treated my mom, who is one of the kindest people I know. You don't have to like your sister-in-laws, but basic respect is a must. She didn't even check on my mom and basically told her to leave. The only reason that she didn't was because I, the driver, told her no. My brother wants me at the wedding, but honestly, I wouldn't be upset if I didn't go. I don't support the marriage. I'm struggling to figure out how to move forward. How can I have a relationship with my brother when I can't stand his wife? What happens when they have children? How do I maintain a relationship if I don't respect or trust her? Our relationship was rocky from the start, and now I feel it's almost impossible to fix. I know people say that time heals everything, but sometimes time just makes things settle without resolving anything. My brother is an amazing man. He's the person who would raise my children if something happened to my husband and me. And now I'm questioning whether that's still the right choice, because I'm not sure I want her raising my kids. Any advice would be appreciated. I recognize I made mistakes during the bachelorette trip, but I also feel like the fallout has been extreme and unfair. Edit. We had a designated driver there. There was no drinking and driving. We were gone for maybe 15 minutes, not in the evening, from maybe 2:30 to 2:45. Her mom stayed out at Cup to continue to shop while she napped, so we didn't see the harm. I did misread the situation. I was just looking for advice. Yeah, you gotta love it when they gotta throw in that little last part about having a designated driver, because it's almost like the comments were probably saying, yeah, that's not a good idea. Plus, also, the person who set up the bachelorette party, from the looks of it, did not want to get drunk or be around that much alcohol, yet you decided to kind of form your own little party and go around drinking, getting drunk, and being loud. I am getting so sick of this. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm 34M and 34F. Hey y'all, a bit of a rant incoming, but I just need somewhere to vent. Even if someone is listening, I have no other outlet. This is regarding myself, 34M, and my wife, 34F. We've been together for 19 years, and married for 10. Last night, Friday night, after a hard week of work, my two kids were playing together when it got a bit out of hand, and my daughter ended up splitting her head open, and we all had to go to A&E to have her head glued. Bless her that she was super brave, but I carried her from the car to the waiting room, to the pediatric ward, and out again. My wife and son stayed in the waiting room. When the nurse came to get us, my wife asked me, does she want me there? I asked the nurse if she wanted my wife there, and she said that she wasn't bothered, nicely. So I turned around and sort of featured for her to stay put. I didn't want the four of us crowded around a bed and getting in the way. I just wanted to get my daughter sorted. I texted my wife the whole time to let her know what was happening, being said, how our daughter was, etc. As soon as we were out, which was only an hour amazingly, my wife said, I asked if our daughter wanted me there, not the nurse. Instant guilt trip. I apologized and said that I reflected on that whilst in the room and should have told her to come, but I just wasn't comfortable with us all being around the bed and wanting to get her sorted. It was busy, but the way to her car, she carried on at me about it, and then suggested that the only reason I wanted to go to the hospital and stay with my daughter was to get out of going into town with my friends that night. I didn't go out much. This was an unusual thing for me to have planned. I told her that was BS, and that I wanted to go out, but couldn't just go out and leave my wife, son, and daughter to potentially spend the night in A&E. I stayed silent for the rest of the ride home. Daughter is fine, by the way. Anyways, I didn't speak to my wife all night until I eventually exploded. I told her that I acted on my parental instincts, and if that's not good enough, then I'm sorry. I told her I'm sick to death of her always grinding me down. She is constantly pulling me for whatever I do wrong, or no matter my intentions, and completely overlooking everything I do for this family. Lately, I've been sad. Since coming back from our holiday, and combined with jet lag, I found it difficult transitioning back to home life. I looked for my bit of support from her to help me cheer up, and she basically said, "You were always so miserable, and it's like you try to hang on to the negatives." I took that on the chin, but upon reflection, it's BS. I have a different emotional mindset to her, and her to hypocritically just tell me to stop being sad is a freaking joke. She's got ADHD and is perpetually doing / saying / feeling things I don't understand, yet I do nothing but support her and try to guide her through her mental load. Whereas I'm met with, "You always this and every time that," no support, no help, no understanding, just flat out stop it. I went mental at her because it seems to me that in my hours of need, when she is there for me, whereas I am her freaking rock, I don't get what I need emotionally from her, at least at the best of times. And lately, it's become very apparent to me that I likely never will. It's Saturday morning. I was hoping to have a long, fruitful weekend, but I just feel betrayed and am pissed off yet again. Roll on freaking Monday so that I can get away from work. Edit. This post has brought a lot of perspective, which is exactly what I needed. I am in no way happy that I made this post, or the fact that I felt the need to make this post. Meanwhile, my wife talked about our problems through at length following everything, and it's very apparent that to both of us that our communication isn't where it needs to be. We've come up with some ideas on how to fix that together. We love each other very much and want to do anything we can to solve that. We've scheduled another talk for in 2 weeks so that even if life gets in the way, we are setting aside time to revisit how we are getting on. I am very ashamed at my emotions poured out in this way. Contrary to what a lot of the comments suggest, I'm not a selfish person. I put my wife and family above and beyond my own needs daily, as does my wife. I failed to recognize problems with myself, and failed to deal with them correctly, and failed to express my feelings with the person who needed to know the most. I will strive to do better for her, myself, and our children. Everything said here is not the entirety of our relationship. For 2 decades, we've loved each other, and we've been through so much together. It cannot possibly be summed up into a single post or comment, and more importantly, it doesn't need to. Sometimes getting an outside perspective on things helps because you didn't realize that was actually going on because you were having your own perspective on things. So, hopefully there is some kind of road to improvement that you're able to work on, because if you're wanting to spend all this time having this person as your significant other, you very much want to make sure that you do what you can so that it works. The one kicker about this story, though, is there actually was a response about things from his wife. I wonder if you included the full story, you might get some more helpful advice. That you didn't want to go out with your friend last night. That you were feeling a bit anxious about going out, but your wife was encouraging you to go throughout the day because it would be good for you. That your wife offered to take the kids to A&E herself, knowing it was just a glue job, like the incident with your older son the year before, so you could still go. That on the way there, she mentioned that she'd like to be the one to take your daughter in this time, because usually Dad goes in and Mom is left waiting. That she said it again in the waiting room, she wanted to go in, but you went in anyways and told her to wait. That when you came back out, she smiled and said, "I meant for you to ask our daughter if she wanted me there, LOL, and not the nurse." Because she could see that you were full dad mode and weren't thinking clearly. That your wife was trying to communicate the whole time, softly, with smiles, because she knows the priority is your daughter, not her feelings. And when you weren't picking up on it, she tried different ways to say it, but now suddenly you're not speaking to her, and she's left confused? That when you eventually exploded, she told you to stop assuming the worst about everything she says. and then you shouted back because that's not who I am. That she told you many times that she can't read your mind. And if she says something that comes across wrong, that you should tell her immediately so that she can explain or apologize. That she's even explained that her autism might make it harder for her to see how things come across. And that's exactly why she wants you to call her out. Because the last thing she ever wants is to hurt you. And that her going to counseling to get help and do better is a positive thing, isn't it? I'm just stuck on your wife's perspective. Waking up in the morning and sees that this on the home screen of Reddit? She must be feeling pretty low seeing this. After all, the running joke of their relationship is she can't read his mind. He needs to communicate that he is Mr. Negative, while your wife always encourages the family to find the silver lining. Maybe communicating when you feel hurt will help you heal, instead of holding on to the thought or feeling and twisting it in to see how negative you could make it. Or maybe reading the CBT that she bought you. But you don't like reading books. So, she did suggest some audiobooks or YouTube podcasts. Your wife loves you unconditionally and wants you to be happy. She's trying extremely hard. Yeah, if you try to post stuff like that and then try to leave out some details to make yourself seem like the better person at all, that is not going to bode well for you at all, dude. Is a huge plush bunny from Jellycat a good surprise Easter present for a girl that I just met 3 days ago? Or is it too forward? Happy Easter weekend. I'm a 31M IT engineer who works remotely. I was on a multi-states road trip in the Midwest earlier this week to meet up with my sister. She was giving a talk at a conference and wanted me to be there for moral support since her husband couldn't go. I was taking my time while making my way there and went to numerous sports bars in mid-sized cities / small towns along the way to unwind. On Wednesday, I had a late lunch and a drink on a quiet afternoon at a sports bar around 3:30 p.m. while watching ESPN on TV and managed to chat up my waitress. Her name is Maddie, short for Madison. She's 23. She was a fine arts major who had just graduated from a college nearby in December, planning to attend a graduation ceremony next month, and still figuring out what she wants to do in life. Even though it was a slow afternoon, just a few old-timers at the bar, I asked for a table, and I knew that she was probably just doing her job. I appreciated the fact that she was chatty and friendly. I told her it was my first time in her state, and I was in the midst of a road trip. When she brought me the bill, I took the initiative to ask for her Instagram, and she gave it to me. I kept driving on, but by the time that I reached the hotel in another town that evening, she still hadn't requested to follow me back, and I was getting a bit nervous, or anxious. I was worried that she wouldn't follow me back. I usually unfollow people who don't follow me back within a week because I'm salty, and perhaps I was misreading the situation. Maybe she was just being nice to me due to her job. Maybe she already had a boyfriend. Never deterred me though. I tried to remind myself not to overthink, that perhaps she was still at work and couldn't get to her phone. I also had to remind myself that these kind of encounters usually don't go anywhere from my past experience, and I should keep expectations to the bare minimum. She requested to follow me on Instagram by the time that I woke up the next morning, and I slid into her DMs. Then I got her number, and we've been texting the last couple of days, just feeling each other out and getting to know each other better. I already thought that she was pretty hot at first sight, but she's starting to grow on me even more since we started texting. We are not close enough to call or FaceTime yet. So far, I've alternated between complimenting her, she texted me some of her doodles / graphic designs, and I told her I was impressed that she is talented, and flirting in a somewhat nonchalant way, because I don't want to come off as a desperate simp or creepy or scare her off. I'm sure that she gets hit on by creeps at work all the time. It's a fine and delicate balance. When I met her in person, she looked to be around 5'3" and had long dark brown straight hair. She has nice perky boobs, albeit not as big as my last girlfriend's. I would say a C or a small D cup. Her arms and thighs have just the right amount of thickness in her tight uniform. She has a cute little smile, and her face has a nice glow to it. I also like the way her lips with glossy lip gloss, I hate red lipstick, and her nude nails. My only minor quibble, not a deal breaker at all, is that from her Instagram, I noticed that she has 2 tattoos. A butterfly tramp stamp, and a quote in a fancy font on her upper thigh. Plus, she told me by text that she vapes sometimes. I don't vape, smoke, or do substances at all. Anyways, Easter is this Sunday, and she mentioned to me that she had work that afternoon. So, I've been thinking that I should contact the local florist to send her an Easter gift basket with a plush bunny from the brand Jellycat. They're quite pricey and well made, to surprise her at work for the occasion. My last girlfriend loves how soft those stuffed animals are, and I even ordered a custom-made, personalized, huge bunny from her directly from Jellycat, with her name on the bunny's ear, and she loved to cuddle with it. Before my last girlfriend, I also sent a St. Patrick's Day gift basket and a bunny to another waitress I met on a trip last year. But then she ghosted me anyways. So it seems pretty hit or miss, and I'm not sure whether it's considered a memorable or thoughtful gift or not. Maybe I'm overthinking, and it all depends on whether she likes me or not. I know some of you would think it's a bit too forward and that I'm love-bombing her, but from my experience, you're better off showing initiative / demonstrating interest early instead of beating around the bush, because people these days have short attention spans, and pretty girls have a lot of options. I'm also at a phase in my life where I'm much more comfortable putting myself out there without fear of rejection and embarrassment. Despite our distance, I obviously want to see her again, even if I have to fly there. Since my breakup last year, she is the only girl that I'm attracted to who actually seems interested in getting to know me, despite the fact that I've cast a wide net and cold approached plenty of girls in the past few months. Yes, I'm already somewhat besotted. Yes, I've already fantasized about having this with her and making her my girlfriend. But I also don't want to get too ahead of myself, because at this current juncture, she might ghost me at any time, and I know these things, i.e. flirtatious texting, can fizzle out quickly. If she reciprocates, I want to fly there next week, and if everything goes well, perhaps fly her over to where I live, show her around, and ask her to be my girlfriend. Maybe I'm overthinking all of this and should just man up and shoot my shot. The problem is, no matter how slick and confident that I try to appear, I just tend to overthink with girls I genuinely like. With girls I'm not really into, I wouldn't really care if she suddenly ghosted me, so I tend to be pretty low effort. This probably happens to the best of us. So let me get this straight. You already have experience of doing something like that to a waitress that you met on a road trip last time, and they ghosted you. What makes you think that this is going to be different? Because you stated that it was going to be kind of a hit or miss kind of thing, or what? Because you only know them for 3 days, and you've barely started talking on Instagram, and you only met them because you happened to have run into them while they were working. Getting that as a gift for like somebody you've been dating for a few months is understandable, not somebody that you just started talking to and have only been talking to for 3 days. But with that is going to have to be with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. And I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!